Hello everyone, welcome to the market snapshots for today. So both the Indian market and the US markets have tried their best to recover, and I won't say both have succeeded equally. For sure, the US markets look very better paced. Let's look at the numbers. Nifty is at 23,962, which is above 0.34% of previous close. Nifty 500 at 23,081, which is above 0.76%. Nasdaq at 29,727, 1.62% above the prior close, and 7543 for S&P 500, which is above 0.81%. This is Nifty 500 Indian markets advances to declines. We got 405 advances to 95 declines. I think this is 9th of June was the last session when the advances were had crossed 400, and this is the second time which has happened. Almost it has taken a month. So I think that's a pretty good positive for the Indian markets. New highs, 14 new highs against 486 new lows. The breadth. Mm, I think this is what I want to talk a little bit about. See, there has been a very strong recovery, no doubt about it. But then, if you look at it, most of the breadth is in the range of 49%, 54%, 53%. So, whatever momentum was lost, I think it did not come back the way it came back in the US market. And when we look at charts, we'll realize that things are not looking very good. Let's come back to the numbers. Above 20 MA, 243 stocks; above 50 MA, 269 stocks; above 200 MA, 267 stocks. This is Nifty 50. I mean, see, this is where it closed yesterday. It tried its best, but somehow, there was not at all any strength, and somehow it just came down to where it started. This is Nifty 50. This is Nifty 500, a much better looking chart. The strength prevailed. I mean, but then still, if you look at the candle, it did not close the way we would have wanted. Somehow it gave away half of its gain. And the reason being, somehow, I think dollar has been putting a lot of pressure on the Indian markets. I don't think fundamentally there are any issues that why the market should not be doing well, but it is just that I think there is too much of pressure from dollar, and that is the reason. What happens is, I think dollar is putting pressure. At the same time, when US markets look good, I don't think investors, they look for opportunities anywhere outside, and that is the reason the FIIs keep moving out of India. That has been the second biggest concern. I think one of the biggest positives about the Indian market is the SIP flow has literally kept us right there, or else we would be looking at very bad markets in Indian context. I think SIP flows just keeps building whatever FIIs keep removing, and that is the reason that we have not literally not plummeted, or else this would have been really very scary for the Indian markets. And nevertheless, I think overall the market is very good, but I think there is too much of pressure from dollar. US markets doing good, and FIIs keep removing their funds. Let's look at the overall sentiments of the market. For Nifty 50, it is bullish. The trend is bullish. Participation is strong. The breadth is mixed. I think the breadth, I mean, it is just hovering around to be very poor in, like, if at all it doesn't works for Nifty. For Nifty, things are not looking good, honestly. Nifty 500, bullish, trading above 50 EMA. Participation is strong and breadth is mixed. A lot of it was recovered, but I think if at all, it continues to recover, it might still take I think 2 3 more sessions. Today's weekly close is going to be very important for Nifty 500, and the rest of the smaller indexes like Nifty micro cap, Nifty small cap, because all these have been the major drivers at this point of time. But then, whatever happened in the last two sessions, a lot of gains have been given back. So I think today's close and the next week is going to be very important with regards to Indian markets. This is US S&P 500. The advances were 299, two declines of 201. Pretty stable numbers there. New highs 14 against 386, 486 new lows. Sorry, that should have been 486. Just look at the breadth recovery, right? I mean, here I think majorly everything. So if you remember yesterday what had happened, most of the breadth had collapsed below 60%. Here is the number: 59%, 64%, 63%. But here what has happened, above 200 EMA and 50 EMA, the stocks have regained, and it's only 20 MA, I think, which mostly will should get covered in today's session. So the recovery here is very, very strong, and I won't say the entire US markets is looking like this. This is specific to S&P 500. Here are also challenges in Nasdaq and Russell 2000, and that is what I have been saying in last few of my sessions, that if at all I am betting only at S&P 500 at this point of time. The reason being, the charts look good, the components, the breadth, participation, everything has been supportive of the rise, and that is the reason I'm bullish on this particular index. Talking about the numbers, above 20 MA 294 stocks, above 50 MA 318 stocks, and above 200 MA 316 stocks. Nasdaq, a good looking chart, again has come into a range, made a gain of almost 1.62% yesterday. So I think, for sure, the sentiment, the confidence has not gone from Nasdaq. It is just that people are, I think, a little cautious about if at all it will break out or break down. So that's the reason, things have been a little cautious on this. S&P 500, this is the best looking chart for me from every market which I cover, which is majorly Indian markets and the US market. Very good. I mean, see, the gain here was 0.8% compared to Nasdaq, which was around 1.62%. This is exactly double of what S&P did. But still, I think I like this chart more, not just because of the structure of this chart, but also because of the participation and breadth and the consistency they have shown in last. I think this would be third straight week wherein S&P 500 has been very, very consistent. Russell 2000, things were going fine until this fall happened, and somehow, uh, the participation and the breadth has also become volatile. So my understanding of the US market is, for sure, people are moving from the concentrated semiconductors to a broader index, which is S&P 500, and there they are going towards defensive sectors like healthcare, finance, industrial goods, and technology. So I think that is where, much of the liquidity is moving, and it's better, we can concentrate on S&P 500 for time being. Although even Nasdaq has started showing strength, but I think for time being I'll be observant about it and will be more focused on S&P 500. Russell 2000, at this point of time, there's nothing wrong here, but then I think I'm more confident on S&P 500. Let's look at the overall market sentiments. This is Nasdaq 100 bullish, participation is strong, breadth mixed. S&P 500 bullish, participation is strong, breadth mixed. Russell 2000 participation bullish, sorry, trend bullish, participation is strong, and breadth mixed. See, if we look this, the overall things looks, there is no difference between what Nasdaq is doing, S&P 500 is doing, or Russell 2000 is doing. But if we look at the data of last 3 weeks, S&P 500 has been leading the three indexes. So like whenever we are looking at the data, it should not be in relevance with what has happened just in today's session. It has to be, the entirety of at least last 10-20 trading sessions, and based upon that we should be forming opinions that where we should be betting on, and based on that S&P 500 is where we should be going ahead with. Global macro, the biggest indicators, US yields, I mean, it has subdued a bit, I would say. It was hovering at around almost 4.57, 4.58. It has come down to 4.53, which is good. Dollar has come down a bit, 100 at 100.75. I think that is equally good. VIX has been very neutral at 1585. No signs of worry there. BTC has again reacted. I mean, see the moment like we saw equity markets rising. Uh, if you remember yesterday, the BTC was around 61,000 and it has already, traded back to 63,760 levels. That means around 2,000 points already gained. And so is the case with gold. Gold has also moved almost 50, 60 pips. So overall, if you look, I think I won't say these numbers are building confidence, but I think they are moving in a direction where equity, people might get more certain about their equity bets. Let's look at the charts. This is dollar, like I said. See, it has been going down, which is good for equity markets, be it in the US, be it in India, or anywhere in the world. Dollar is a very, very vital component about the rise and fall of equity products across the globe. Bitcoin, like I said, the moment the sentiments were back, this is the first. I mean, literally, you don't need to plot anything. If you can just keep looking at Bitcoin on a daily chart, you would realize where the sentiments are. Bitcoin is an exceptional indicator to tell you if the sentiments are with risky instruments or they are not. If Bitcoin is rising, you can be like very, very bullish about the equity markets, and if dollar is going down, it's better to look for defensive products like bonds, maybe fixed deposit products, such kind of instruments. It is an excellent indicator about the sentiments where the markets are headed to. And let's look at the gold chart. Not much movement here, but then for sure there was a bottom formed here. It is trying to rise. A lot of work needs to be done in gold, but then overall, I would say for short term context, you can trade it. Nothing on the long front, I would say. Talking about today's takeaway, I would say the focus should be on S&P 500. It is going to be very, very, I think that's the one which is moving with a lot of participation and breadth. So hence its components are strong to take bets. Talking about Indian markets, I think Friday is going to be, that is today's session is going to be very, very important where it closes, because a lot of smaller indexes like S&P, like Nifty 500 or maybe Nifty micro cap or Nifty small cap 250, they all have done pretty well in last month or two. But then today's close remains very, very crucial because a lot of it was given back in last two trading sessions. So I'll be really very observant about it. It's not that I'll be moving everything to cash. I still have positions open, I'll keep going it, but then today's markets are crucial in Indian context. And in the US, I think Nasdaq has started showing signs of strength, but S&P 500 is where my focus would be. That's everything for today. Hope you all found this useful. Thank you so much and have a good one.